Hi everybody, my name is David and this is Julie, and we're back for this week's episode of our Did You Know show. And today we're talking about the top 4 things you should know before submitting an offer to purchase a house. All right, so you've been pre-approved, you got the loan dialed in and squared away, you're ready to make an offer. Julie, let's go with the first top tip for a home buyer ready to make an offer on a house.
So tip number 1 is to brace for a fast pace. Today's market is dynamic and fast paced. According to the National Association of Realtors, the average home is on the market for just 17 days. So you need to act quickly, you need to be prepared. Obviously, the pre-approval is the very earliest stage. Working with a full-time real estate professional that's going to be there for you in order to move quickly on these deals and submitting offers is highly important, especially in today's climate.
Yeah, and even here locally, I think our days on market data is even quicker than the national level. I think last month we saw it below 14 days, so which is extremely quick paced for our local market. So tip number 2 for today's show is to lean on a professional realtor. Julie mentioned this a little bit in the first tip, but what I want to really get into here is the realtor's ability to find out what the seller really wants and needs in the sale of their home. And that is beyond the price of the house. You know, we need to find out the information like, what's the seller's time frame? Do they need a rent back? For how long? You know, all this other information so you can present the best possible offer up front to hopefully make it more attractive versus the other offers that they've also received.
So tip number 3 is to make a strong but fair offer. Let's face it, in the past, you know, an offer at or around asking price was acceptable. In today's market, that's not necessarily the case. In fact, according to the chief economist at the National Association of Realtors, for every listing, there are 5.1 offers. Half of the homes that are being sold are above list price. David and I have spoke about it quite a bit recently in our local market here in Stockton and Lodi. We are definitely seeing that occur. You also hear the term highest and best. So touching on David's last point, obviously a strong offer in terms of price is important, but getting to know what's really important to the seller is also going to help you have a standout offer.
Yeah, I think beyond that, you need a great agent who could run the most recent comparable sales so you know you're not overpaying for the property. It's easy to get hung up in the auction experience in this market. Hey, I want to beat that buyer, I want to beat this offer. But you also do not want to overpay. So having a great agent to help you run the comparable sales is extremely important. Lastly, and the 4th tip for today's show is to be a flexible negotiator. You know, I mentioned in our tip number 2 that you want to find out as much information as possible about the seller's needs as far as their move-out dates, the possible rent back. In this marketplace today, you want to have that flexibility to be able to shift your move-in dates or for the seller to accommodate their timelines. You also want to be flexible with your contingency periods. Many buyers in this marketplace are removing all their contingencies, specifically the inspection contingency and the loan contingencies, but personally I don't recommend that. I've never have. I think it's pretty risky to do so. So I'd resist the temptation to waive the inspection contingency, especially in this hot market. If another buyer wants to do that, maybe let them, but we don't recommend it here in this marketplace.
Yeah, that's all really good advice, David. It's important to remember that without an inspection contingency, you could end up with a contract on a house that you can't afford to fix. And that's all bad. Nobody wants that. So those are our top 4 tips to remember when being a home buyer in today's market.
You guys, thank you so much for watching today's Did You Know show. Our show comes out each and every Tuesday. So if you're on YouTube, you want to see next week's episode and beyond, hit that subscribe button right down below. And what do you guys think about our top 4 tips? Is there anything we missed? Let us know in the comments below. We'll see you next week. Thank you.